Yes, this is your boy HD, aka the Code Breakers, coming at you from a very undisclosed location, somewhere hiding in plain sight, somewhere in Canada while I'm breaking code. And guess what, guys? I broke another code. And I've been kind of seeing the way how things are looking. It kind of looks like in society, people are desperate for money. These women are being prostitutes. People are having three jobs. Barely don't have any time to see their kids. There's people out there who have two jobs in school, don't even get enough time to sleep, and due to the fact of that, is shortening their lifespan. And the way I look at it is like these people, they have been enslaved by the dollar. Having the fact to know that you have to work every single day just to make sure that your family has a place to live in. And what happens when you get sick? What happens when the company lets you go? What do you do then? And that's the stuff that gives people more stress, which causes some of these long term psychological diseases. And like there's biological diseases, there is psychological diseases. And that's one thing you will never ever see in the news. And this is the code because, like, one thing I learned in my life, they always say, follow the money. Follow the money. Where does all this money come from? Who controls everything? And what it really looks like is that there's around two or three families that found the most smartest trick in history to keep people completely enslaved. And it's the Rothschild and the Rockefellers by using the World Bank. And I'll put it like this: there's something that the Rothschilds made up, just which just doesn't make any logical sense. It's called inflation. Remember how when you bought a lemon at a store it was 9 cents, and then all of a sudden you buy a lemon, it's 4.99 for no fucking reason, and it's the exact same lemon but it's probably got sprayed more? You ever wonder why? You ever wonder why you buy a house in the 80s and it's $89,000 for a house, and then 30 years later it's $1 million? You ever wonder why? People who bought property 30 years ago are automatic millionaires based on their property value. And do you know what that is? It's called inflation. Inflation. In motherfucking inflation. All right? Inflation is what the main tool the World Bank uses to make sure that people are enslaved for the rest of their lives. Like, think about it. When you're done working, when you're 65 years old, you can't fucking throw a football. You can't fucking run fast. You can't do shit. Your life is done. You spend it working, 40 hours every single week. And if you're on the managerial level, you're doing at least 70. And it's disgusting. People are working more than spending time with their families because they need money to support their families. And it's a conundrum because I'll put it like this: if a property that they bought in 1984, which is maybe $89,000, is worth around $1 million in a very undisclosed location somewhere in Canada, tell me this: in 1984, if they bought that same house for $89,000, what if it was worth 10 million now? What if it was worth $50 million? What if it was worth $100 million right now, and people needed $100 million to buy a house? You ever think about that? Where is the line drawn? And do you know what I'll tell you guys? There is no line drawn, because there's people drawing the line for you. I know when my shit is, when I know when I can see this and it's ridiculous. It's been ridiculous and it keeps on getting more ridiculous. But just put that into perspective. What if a house that is 89,000 30 years ago is worth, instead of it being worth normally 1 million, it's worth 5 million? That's even more inflation. It's worth 10 million, that's even more inflation. And what if it's worth 100 million, that's even more inflation? For what? Something that they print out of a printer? Y'all, put it like this. Growing up in a very undisclosed location somewhere in Canada, breaking code while I'm hiding in plain sight. Breaking code while I'm hiding in plain sight. A hot dog was 150. Now it's $4. For the worst even shit. It gets worse, but it costs more. How the fuck does that make any sense? Anybody home in that fucking brain? And you know why it's gonna stay like this? Because nobody ever said we need to protest against the World Bank because inflation is too high. Because there's gonna be one day where only gonna make $100,000, and to buy one lemon is gonna be $2 million. It's gonna be forfeited to death, and it's happening. There's some people don't even have jobs, that can't even supply, that can't live, that don't got no food, that are dying out. And if you're alive and you're happy, you should not be dying out. You should be enjoying life and being prosperous. That's what it's all about. And guess what, guys? This code has been broken. The main reason why people have been enslaved is due to the policies of the World Bank. The World Bank is the people that are giving loans to governments. The government gives the loans to the banks give the loans to the people, and the people are working the next 30 years of their life trying to pay off these debts. And guess what, guys? This transmission is over.